So if you're a Spurs fan, you'll no doubt be rueing the unfortunate form of Harry Kane, who was an absolute god last year in front of goal, and this year can't seem to hit a barn door from 3 yards. But what can Harry Kane teach us about trading? Stay right here to watch the rest of this video, or click over here to get hold of a free trial of BetAngel, or click over here and subscribe to get instant access to new videos as they're released. Thank you for watching the video. So if you look at trading, the thing that I want to talk about today is regression to mean. And the example that I can give you is a really good one. And that was that there was a study done some time ago. I can't remember the specifics around it. I can summarize and paraphrase it for you. Where these psychologists were interested in whether it pays to punish somebody or whether it pays to reward them. So they were trying to differentiate what happens between punishment and reward. So basically, when people were underperforming, they punished them. And when people were overperforming, they praised them. But what they tended to find was that if you praise somebody, then they seem to perform much worse from there. And if you punish somebody, it seemed to improve their performance. So the conclusion of the study was that they should just punish everybody. So that's what they did. They went off and punished everybody, whether they did well or not. And what actually happened was there was no net improvement in performance within this particular study group. So they scratched their heads, wondered what was going on, and decided to refer it to psychologists. And the psychologist was speaking to a mathematician, and the mathematician came in, analysed it, and said, what you're looking at here is regression to mean. And the way that he summarised it was basically, look, this is the average performance that you're seeing across this group. There is a general trend within this, and that general trend will be up or down. And in the whole, this is what you're tending to see. However, when somebody significantly underperforms, they've probably just been unlucky. And when you punish them, it's not the fact that you've punished them that is returning it to mean. It's just the fact that it's returning to mean on its own. You're picking on them because they've deviated significantly from the performance that was expected. And when you measure it again, they've just reverted back to mean. And likewise, when people perform outside of mean, then they tend to regress back to it over time as well. So if you praise people who've done particularly well, you may actually just be praising people who've been lucky. And this is sort of what we've seen with Harry Kane. Last year, he performed particularly well. Maybe, generally what you're talking about at any level, whether it's trading, sport, whatever you want to do, there's talent in there. You need talent to be able to do something, but there's also a little bit of luck. And you should never mix up both of those together. Just because somebody's been quite lucky over a period of time doesn't necessarily mean that they've become an amazing superstar. It's more the mean of what they're doing. So I think there's actually a propensity, especially in football, to over-reward people that have had a good season, for example, or a short period of time. I think the analytics behind football are getting much better at spotting the right people. But one of the problems that occurs is people get promoted too quickly. So Harry Kane into England on the back of one good season, not so sure. But also, if you look at his form this season and he's not performing very well, he's been unlucky. And if you take both seasons and merge them together, you get a much more representative picture. Whereas last year, the problem that occurred last year was it was probably over-representative of his talent. There was probably more luck in there. I mean, there was a great shot he did in the Carling Cup the other night. Fantastic volley. It just didn't go in. Last year, that probably would have gone in and everybody gone, oh, he's a god. This year, it didn't go in and he's an idiot. But the fact is, it's neither of those things. It's somewhere between the two. So what we're seeing with Harry Kane this year is just an extreme regression to mean. He's been a little bit unlucky, and you could argue actually with a footballer or a sports person that will affect their confidence. Confidence was high last year. He would take more shots and be a little bit more aggressive and do crazier things because he had nothing to lose. This year, if he does something crazy and misses, then all of a sudden, the pressure is on his shoulders and his mindset will dip, and all of a sudden, the pressure builds more and it becomes a cycle from there. So there may be a case in there. I haven't studied that excessively, but I have studied regression to mean. And you can pretty much predict that overperformance or underperformance will correct itself over time. And in fact, it's that core performance that you need to be focusing on. And from a trading perspective, what this means is that when you're trading, you should never give yourself too much credit when you get an exceptional result. one thing I've deliberately done over the years is I've never posted my exceptional results. You may think some of the results that I've posted are huge, but you should see some of the really big ones. And that is because I accept that I have been a little bit lucky in there. And also it's unrepresentative. It's not an average result. It's not something that can be done with great regularity. So I don't post the really, really, really big results because they're freaks as far as I'm concerned. But also every now and again, you will get a freaky negative result. And when that occurs to me, I just sort of go, poor, just unlucky, wrong place, wrong time, wrong thing. And, it just didn't work out for one reason or another. So my attitude when I'm trading is that the exceptional positive results, I just take them and go, well, that's nice, but I'm not going to attribute any skill to it whatsoever. But also when I get a negative result or an exceptional negative result, they could happen for any reason. There could be an issue somewhere with your internet connection, or you clicked on the wrong thing, or all sorts of strange things could happen. So I don't worry about those either. For me, it's all about that average result and how that pans out over time and how I can influence it. Can I nudge my strike rate up ever so slightly? Can I make a little bit more if I do something, raise stakes a little bit here? Or can I minimize the chance of a loss by modifying an element here? Those are the things I'm worried about. But the big and small results, or the negative results, I'm not particularly fussed about. I'm looking at the mean all of the time, and everything else goes by the wayside. So sometimes you can have exceptional days where absolutely everything goes right. But again, I don't consider that to be anything to do with me. I don't fluff up my ego and suddenly think that I'm a god. And if I have a really bad day, I don't believe that I've been an idiot of some sort. It just, nothing fell into place on that particular day. And this is why I don't look at my P&L during the day. I just treat each market as I see it, and then I'll look at it at the end of the day. If you keep looking at your P&L as you go through the day, you start to put pressure on yourself. Say you've got off to a bad start, you suddenly feel like you need to do better. Or say you've got off to a good start, you become overconfident, you raise your stakes, and then it all falls apart. So again, I don't set myself a daily target. I don't look at how I've been performing so far, and I know that will influence, or could influence, the outcome of the next event. So I don't bother looking at it. I try and keep a level head all the way through. And that's how I suggest you approach trading. And that's something that we can learn from Harry Kane and all of these other studies, is that it's better to look at mean, because that's where you're going to regress to eventually. If you're interested in learning more about BetAngel, its tools and the opportunities they present, then why not visit betangel.com today and download a free trial.